Battlefield 3 is a field general on the PC, but the console version features some significant changes that warrant a separate review. That said, the game's design has remained virtually unchanged, and so, if you want all the minute details, we recommend watching our PC review first.
Good hit, good kill.
The story in the console versions mirrors that of the PC iteration. It's still rather limp and cliché. Most of the prose is handled in an interrogation room where Marine Sergeant Blackburn is under fire as the world is on the brink of several nuclear detonations. Ripped almost straight from Call of Duty Black Ops, as Blackburn recounts his exploits, the player is sent out to live them on the battlefield. Poor writing and equally inept voice acting don't help things much.
I just want to get to the bottom of this, and I want to do it cleanly.
You still get the same exact campaign as the PC version as far as length and content is concerned, but we have to admit that playing through it a second time does not do it any favors. Many of the rough edges that were easy to miss among the glow of a first play are much more difficult to ignore the second time around. Teammate AI is non-existent, and it tries very hard to duplicate the more memorable moments of its contemporaries. But with too many rote situations, it's ultimately forgettable.
RPG, overpass!
The two-player co-op actually works a little better on the consoles, if only because teammates are more likely to have headsets to communicate. With 6 missions that you can practically tackle in any order you please, it's not especially robust, yet the missions feature a nice variety and are incredibly challenging. They're a great warm-up for all the mechanics of the multiplayer.
Bombs away. 3 seconds. On target. Nice shot.
Online is where the console versions feature the biggest differences. For starters, the player count is dialed way back. While you can battle with 64 players on the PC, here the max is 24. It makes a big difference in confrontation rate, despite the fact that the map size has been reduced rather significantly. All the vehicles from the PC version have made their way over, but there are less of them per map. Count on spending a lot more time as a foot soldier on the consoles. Where multiplayer modes are concerned, the versions are identical. There's still just 3 main types, including Deathmatch, Conquest, and Rush. There are slight variants to explore, but if it weren't for the overall depth of each option, the multiplayer would seem skeleton-like. Even on the consoles, the server browser works great in finding the right match. But it's also a little annoying that you're forced to wait for a match to begin before you can quit. We've also had severe connection problems on Xbox Live. EA is currently addressing this on the multiplayer landing page, but for a game that's been available for quite some time, it's inexcusable. Gameplay-wise, a controller is never going to match the precision of a mouse and keyboard, and the typical auto-aim is utilized here to soften the blow. Vehicle controls work fine for land and seacraft, but the chopper and jet controls don't benefit much from using an analog stick and buttons. It's not fair to expect the console versions of Battlefield 3 to look as good as the PC release, and they definitely fall well short. Vegetation and other details have been completely removed for the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, yet the lighting and other visual effects still make a significant impact, and the polygon count hasn't suffered much. Textures are definitely of a lower resolution, and the game even asks if you want to install high-res textures if you attempt to load it onto your hard drive. Compared to other games on the same platform, it's competitive with the best available and still manages to dazzle rather frequently. We've experienced more slowdown and other issues than the PC version, but it's still a great-looking and sounding game. Battlefield 3 for the consoles holds up moderately well, but it's also plagued by more issues than the PC version. Bugs and crashes are more frequent, and there are separate discs for multiplayer and single-player. It's just not as polished or engaging as its PC counterpart. That said, if you enjoy online, vehicle, and objective-based warfare, it has quite a bit of staying power. Just don't expect to get your money's worth from a campaign.
I don't know, this place looks real different without any frickin' buildings.